Welcome to Diagnostics Tuesday, uh, right here at Farmers Media. Uh, you are having Stephen Kasie as an extension officer. I want to take you through this uh, diagnostics of today, and we are going to talk more about potato production. So, here, uh, today we are looking at potato farming in Kenya. Potato scientific name is Solanum tuberosum. We have this potato is the second staple food after maize in this country of Kenya. So it is being grown in more than 100 countries in the whole world. It is grown by both small scale farmers and large scale farmers. So we are here to help you to know how you can manage your crops and get what you are targeting. And here we want to start. Everything start from preparation. So here we want to start from land preparation. Before you do land preparation, you have to ensure that you do site selection. And site selection, you have to look some factors which affect the site that you want to start your propagation of your crop production, that is potato production. So here you have to look at a topography of the land. This is just the slope and the gentleness of the land. So here you have to ensure that your land is not that steep slopes, where these steep slopes will encourage soil erosion, where you will not be able to have or grow your crops well. When the heavy rains come, will sweep away everything and remain with nothing. So you have to look at the land that is gentle slope, and should not be that flat. Gentle slope is the one which is recommended because the drainage is good and there is no much soil erosion, and the nutrients will remain in the soil, and the crop will be able to utilize the nutrients. So if you use the flat one ground, the waters that will be raining, or the waters that will be irrigating, will not get infiltrated into the soil well. So it will log in the soil, and after logging, you'll get that your tubers or your crops are getting uh, they are rotting, and they will eventually die, and you get nothing from the the farm. So you have to do proper site selection to ensure that your ground is good, and also the type of the soil that you are using. You have different types of the soils that we grow this potato. So potato normally do well in clay loamy soils, in the loamy soils, in the sandy loamy soils. But if you go to the black cotton soils, these ones, the potato does not do well there, because the hard pan is being created and the tubers have to expand in the soil. But when the hard pan is created, the tubers will not uh, expand well, and you will not get the market size that you require. Also, they will not multiply because they will not have the space inside the soil. So, as you compare to the sandy loamy soil or clay loamy soils, their structures are improved because they don't stick together so much, and also they they are loosened. So when the roots are penetrating well, the tubers come from the roots. So when the roots penetrate everywhere and they have space, more space in the soil, the tubers will be able to grow big and more. You will get uh, many tubers from one crop, and these ones will help you to get what you are targeting per unit area. Because as you see, uh, if your neighbor is doing this potato production, you have to ensure that the soils that are doing there, you have to compare how how much he gets from the farm. So you have to ensure that you are doing site selection well for you to get what you are targeting. But if you just start and you have not done well, or you are just coming up with a potato production and your soil does not favor that production, you will not continue the farming, because the guesswork always leave our farmers broke. So you have to ensure that you do proper site selection. And here, after you have done site selection, we go back to land preparation. Now you have selected your site. Now you want to start to prepare your site that you have selected for you to be ready for planting. So here you are going to do land preparation. One, you have to ensure that you clear all the bushes that are around the farm, and also you have to ensure that you are removing all obstacles like stones in the farm, like the logs, everything that can hinder the production there. You have to ensure that you remove all the shrubs, what that can hinder your production. So after you have done your land preparation, you have to do soil testing. Soil testing and analysis. This one will help you to know which and what nutrients are lacking and are in your soil. So you have to ensure that you do soil testing, and this one also will help you to know if you are going to plant a certain variety of potato, because we have to plant the varieties that are resistant to pests and diseases. So when your soil is rich in nutrients, you are on the safer side. As you see, always potatoes require high magnesium and calcium. So, and the pH always affects the efficiency of nutrient uptake. So when the pH is low, the nutrient uptake will not be good. The nutrients will be taken by the crops in the little amount. So you have to ensure that your pH is moderate. When the pH is low, you have to ensure that you use lime to reclaim or to do soil amendment. The lime will bring the pH to the moderate state and will be able to achieve what you are targeting. But when the pH is high, you have to ensure that you are using gypsum, which will lower the pH to the moderate, and you will get what you are targeting as a farmer. But when you just start and your pH are low, your pH are high, the crops will not get the nutrients that are required for their life cycle, and they not produce well, and you will end up getting less uh, than what you are targeting. So you have to ensure that you do soil testing to know the nutrients that are lacking in your soil, and the crop require which nutrients for you to add or to amend your soil, so that you can improve your soil structures and you'll be well. So I will urge all farmers, before you start this production, potato production, ensure that you do proper land preparation and be ready for transplanting. And as I've said, that we have to select our variety. So you have to come up with all the details that you have analyzed the soil. You have come with all soil analysis test, and you have to know which variety can do well in that soil. So the soil analysis test will just tell you this one will do this well and this one will not do well. So you have to do variety selection. After you have selected your variety, you know this variety will do this, will do well in these soils, and I will get what I'm targeting. But if you go for the wrong variety, many farmers always ignore, and I will urge our farmers not to ignore the descriptions or the recommendations that are being given by their agronomists or the extension officers when they visit their farms. So the structures of the soil affect the production of potatoes. So when you are doing variety selection, ensure that you are getting the right variety for your soils and the ecological conditions in your area. So when you have to plant it, you will get what you are targeting, because you will have uh, planted the right variety. So the seeds that you have to plant, or the tubers that you have to plant in your farm, ensure that they are free from diseases and pests. So when you plant the tubers that are free from diseases, the tubers will grow, the crop will grow healthy and strong. Hence, it will lead to more yields per unit area. Hence, you will be bringing the food security in our country. And also, when you're using these disease-free tubers, your crops will grow well and the soil will be making the structures to be good, because you will not be introducing the pathogens in the soil into the soil. Also, you will not be bringing a new disease into your area. So the soil will be live, and it will have to give you what you are targeting. But if you plant the seeds that have diseases, my friend, you will not get what you are targeting, because the disease will spread in the soil and eventually it will attack all the plantation, and you will not get what you are targeting, because the diseases are the one which declines our production. The production will be low because the diseases have attacked our crops, and we'll get less than what we have been targeting. And this one demoralizes many farmers. And that's why before you start anything, you have to have prior knowledge about that. And to have that prior knowledge, you have to ensure that you are looking for the expertise, the extension officers, the agronomists, to do you everything that you want and give you recommendations and the guideline on how to go about it. But don't just start from nowhere without any information, without any prior knowledge about the production of that thing, and will not be able to do. Because some farmers fail because they don't follow the procedures and the protocol that are required for the production of a certain crop. So if you want to start a potato production, you have to ensure that you are getting experienced farmers, you are getting agronomists, extension officers for you to start. But if you start from nowhere, it will leave you broke, and eventually you'll fail and will just run away from this production. But I urge you all, before you start, let us help you first and go to start your production. After that, we have planting practices. After you have prepared all your shamba, your farm, you have prepared, you have selected a right variety, you have selected a good seeds that you are using. Now you go planting. Planting we do on ridges. We create ridges, and the planting you put one seed from the other one. The spacing is 75 by 30 centimeters on a pure stand. This one will help you to get the number of tubers that you are targeting per crop. When you do closely, you will not get what you are targeting, because when the crops get closer, when you plant closer, the roots will penetrate everywhere and they'll have to compact together, and the production you are getting small tubers which are not market size, which many people don't like. You have to ensure that you are following the procedures and the recommended spacing of potato to ensure that you are getting the market size tubers that will be profitable to you. Because many farmers ask, is potato farming profitable to them? I want to assure you that potato production is more profitable to many farmers, because as I have said that it is the second staple food in this country of Kenya. Uh, Now you are going to get more because it is being uh, planted or grown by both small scale farmers and large scale farmers. So I want to urge all farmers that are doing potato production to continue because it is a good uh, crop to us, because it helps our body health, and it improves our immune systems because it is a healthy crop. So I, w- I was on planting. After you have planted your crop, ensure that the farm is clean. There's no any obstacles that can hinder the root penetration. The soil, you have applied the manure that is required. You have done everything to ensure that the germination of your tubers or your seeds is high. And also watering. Water and water will help you to know the germination rate, and the germination rate will come from the irrigation regime. You have to follow irrigation regime or watering regime to ensure that all your tubers that you have planted germinate. But when you leave the ground dry after planting, the tubers will not germinate. Why? When you just put, or I always tell farmers, when you just sow your seeds or when you just plant your seeds and you don't irrigate or water, the very day you will have not planted that seed, because the seed was in store. You took it and you have taken it to the farm, you have put in the soil. It's just like still in the store, but you have to give all the conditions in the soil that will support germination. And the biggest one is the soil, and followed by water. And water is the second one because it helps the germination rate to be high. When you water the very day, you'll have planted. But if you don't water, you have just returned them to the store. Till the day you will water your seeds is the day that it will be counted that you have planted. So you know germination starts after 7 days. If you plant them uh, 2 days and you stop or you don't give the water for 3 days, and the fourth day you start giving water, we will start counting from that fourth day. Don't start counting from the very day that you planted, because you have not given all the germination conditions that are required. So I will urge you all to follow the procedures for you to ensure that you are getting your yields as per unit area that you are targeting. So under weed control, we always tell our farmers they should not go do weeding when there is the offset of or the onset of the flowers, because when you go disturb the crop, the old flowers will have to fall down and you will not get the yield that you are targeting. You have to ensure that you are not using the jembe, which can cut the roots. We always recommend to do hand weeding, because hand weeding will not interfere with the tubers. When you do with a jembe or any sharp equipment, it may injure the tubers and the tubers may start rotting. You will not get what you are targeting per unit area. So you have, when you are using a jembe or sharp object, you have to be vigilant, or you have to be uh, aware, or you have to make sure that you are not disturbing the roots and the tubers for you to get what you are targeting per unit area. Don't spray the crop with the herbicides, because we are targeting more yields per unit area. When you spray at late stages, you will not get that. You will get that the crop is getting back, and you are targeting in 3 months. You have to start harvesting. So you have to ensure that you do a proper sanitation to ensure that you get what you are targeting per unit area. We have ridging. ridging or earthing up, you have to give the crop back the soils that are going away. For example, when it rains, there is a deforming of the ridges. So you have to go back and do earthing up to ensure that all tubers are in the soil for them to continue expanding and increasing in number for you to get the tubers that you are targeting per crop. And this one will help you to get the market size tubers, and also it will uh, help you to get the number of tubers that you are targeting per crop. So I will urge all farmers to ensure that they are doing earthing up or they are doing ridging to ensure that all the tubers are in good conditions. That is when you expose the tubers outside, they will not expand. So when they are in the soil, they have all conditions for growing, and the soil is the growing media. So when the tuber is not in the growing media, it will not expand. So you have to ensure that all tubers are in the soil for them to expand and be bigger for the market size. So I talked about a watering regime. That one, you have to ensure that you are you follow the watering regime to ensure that your crops are healthy and the soil is not dry, to improve the structure of the soil, because in the soil we have living organisms, we have fertilizers, we have manures, and these ones require, all of them require water. Before the fertilizers are being taken up, they require water, because water will help in the dissolving, and the root hairs will be able to absorb the nutrients into the crop. So water is the most important thing in the production. Even in the manure, it will help the living organisms that are in the soil to work on the organic manure that you have placed in the soil, and they will break the organic matters into humus. Hence, the soil will start feeding your crops, and you will get what you are targeting per unit area. So follow watering regime and you will get what you want. And ensure that the water that you are using, the EC is good. The electrical conductivity is not high, for you to ensure that you are getting the required yields. Fresh water all helps the farmers mostly compared to salty water, because salty water causes some damages, because you may get that the living organisms that are in the soil will be more in the soil, the salinity will be high, and they may get start dying because of the conditions that are in the soil. They will not be favorable to them, so they will not work as they were working. So we have potato. Before that, under fertilizer and manure application, as I have said that potato production, in the potato production, potato crop requires uh, more magnesium and calcium. Uh, why? Magnesium help in the photosynthesis, and it is a plant energy and yield driver. Here, the magnesium that you are applying in the soil or to the crop, it will help in the photosynthesis. And when the photosynthesis is high, it means that uh, the crop will have more food uh, for them to increase their yields. As I have said that it is a plant energy and yield driver. The crops will grow healthy and will get more yields per unit area. So you have, after you have done your soil testing, soil analysis, you know the required fertilizers that you are using. If there is less magnesium nutrients in the soil, you have to apply to ensure that you have the right quantity of the magnesiums that is in the soil. So magnesium will help the crop in the photosynthesis, and also it is a energy driver and yield driver. So you'll get required yields that you have been targeting per unit area because of the magnesium. And the calcium is important because it helps the crops to develop a resistance from diseases and pests. So when the crops are healthy and they have magnesium, even if any diseases comes, they will not strike the crop because it is more healthy and the immune system is strong. The crop will not die and you get what you are targeting per unit area. And the tubers that you are going to harvest, they'll be more healthy and the storage will be long. That is, the shelf life will increase. The tubers that have a long shelf life will have to keep them for long and you get customers to the market as you sell slowly by slowly. But when you don't apply calcium, the shelf life will be reduced and it cannot stay for long in the store. So you have to ensure that calcium and magnesium is in the soil to help the crops and the tubers for you. And we have this low pH. Low pH will reduce the nutrient uptake by the crop. And this is where the crops or the root hairs of the crop will not be able to take take the nutrients into the roots of the plant, and the crop will lack some nutrients when or it will not get the required nutrients for the growth. Also, these ones require moderate pH. This moderate pH will ensure that there is a high nutrient uptake by the crop, and the crops will get each and every nutrient that is required for the growth and development. And you have to get the strong tubers that have long shelf life and they are quality one and they are big size of market size. So you have to ensure that the pH is moderate. And how to amend or to reclaim the soil, you have to ensure that when the pH are high, use gypsum to lower the pH. When the pH is low, use lime to raise the pH for you to be on the safer side, and they will be improving the soil structure. So ensure that you are following all the integrated procedures for you to get what you are targeting per unit area. So as I said that to increase yields, farmers have to change the type of fertilizers that are using. For them to spend no anymore on fertilizers. And this one will amend the soil and the soil will have nutrient balance. And the plants will have all the nutrients that are required for them to grow healthy and give out the yields that you are targeting per crop. But when the farmers just start guessing, the guesswork always will leave our farmers broke. Why? Many farmers do guesswork. We have to use this fertilizer, we have to use, but as an extension officer, I always advise farmers to follow the integrated procedure, fertilizer application, what, to ensure that their soils are good and the fertilizers that have been recommended for them, they are using them. They should not divert and go to a different fertilizer. They may get that they are adding more nutrients that are there, which is not required, and or which are not necessary. So the thing that I said that you have to do soil testing for you to know the fertilizers that you can apply in your soil. So we have to ensure that we are following all the procedures. When an agronomist or extension officer talk to you about or tell you about something, don't ignore, because many farmers tend to, they just listen, but after listening they do something which is different from what they have been told. When the expert tell you something, please can you follow it and see the results of that uh, of that crop that or fertilizer that they have recommended for you. So you have to ensure that you are following all the procedures and you will have to get what you are targeting But if you neglect and go do different things, you will go in a wrong way, and eventually we will not get what you are targeting as per production. Production needs help, and when you have knowledge about something, you will be able to get what you are targeting per unit area. So I'm going for a short break, and I'll be back continue with the how we can manage or how we can control or prevent the potato pests and diseases. So I'll come back in a few minutes and continue with you. Thank you. Welcome back at the Farmers Media to continue with the Diagnostic Tuesday. And I was talking about potato crop. So you have to get what you are talking about, and it will help you in the farming. So welcome. Uh, as I was talking about the production, and I've said about all the starting from the land preparation up to fertilizer application. So I want to talk about the diseases that are common in our potato farms. So we have to ensure that these diseases are being prevented or are being controlled for us to get what you are targeting per unit area. So uh, these potato diseases and pests are another cause of potato yield decline because when the pest and the disease pressure increases, the yields will get down, and you will not get what you are targeting per unit area. So we want to start from the common one, which is early blight. This is caused by a fungal pathogen, Alternaria solani. So you have to ensure that you are keeping your farm clean to prevent this crop. But we are going to discuss more about the control of this and the prevention of these diseases. Another one, you have late blight. Late blight is caused by a bacteria also, and we have bacterial wilt, which is caused by a bacteria also. You have potato cyst. This potato cyst is a potato cyst nematodes, PCN. This is a new disease that has been emerged in many farms in this country, Kenya, and it is caused by Ralstonia solanaceram bacteria. And this one have the prevention methods and control methods which are cultural, and we are going to discuss about the methods how we can go about the diseases or to prevent them or to treat them to ensure that we are getting what we are targeting per unit area. And also we have potato virus Y, PVY. We have potato tuber moth. These all diseases and pests, as I have said, they decline the yields because when the pressure of the pest and disease is high, the production will be less because the production cost will go high because you are using more inputs like agrochemicals to apply in the farm, the soil amendments, all you have to do properly to ensure that you are getting what you are targeting per unit area. So you will get that the production cost is higher than what you have got, and you get that you are getting a loss instead of profit. So we have to ensure that we are getting all the profits for us to go ahead in the farming of the crop. So you have to ensure that we are following all the procedures and all the integrated procedures to ensure that we are controlling or preventing the diseases. So we have the cultural methods that we can use to control these diseases and prevent them. So one, you have to ensure that you have proper sanitation. Proper sanitation simply means that after you have done all land preparation, as I say that you have to ensure that you are removing all obstacles because the crops that are remaining there, the first inoculum, they are the host of the pathogens and pests, and the diseases will grow in the farm and they will spread all over and you not get what you are targeting because the diseases will affect the production and the crops will not grow healthy. So you have to ensure that you are removing all the volunteer crops, all the weeds to ensure that the farm is clean for you to get what you are targeting. But when your farm is bushy or is weedy, the weeds will be the host for the pathogens and the pests, and they will not get away from your farm. Hence, they will go and breed. Pests will breed in the farm and will cause a big destruction or damage. So you have to ensure that you do proper sanitation, and this one will help you to get what you are targeting per unit area. So also we have a source of good certified seeds. As I say that you have to use certified seeds before you start propagation or planting. You have done all soil tests, you have the recommended procedures to follow, the fertilizers to use, the right variety to use. So you have to ensure that you are getting into the agrovet or into the seed company for you to get the right seed variety of the certified seeds that can give you high yields that you are targeting per unit area, and the variety of the seeds that are good for your ecological conditions and the soils for you to get what you are targeting. But if you go for a wrong one, my friend, you will not get what you are targeting because the crop will not survive. As I said that you have to ensure that the variety you are using have to be resistant to diseases and pests. But if you just select a variety that is prone to the diseases and uh, can be attacked by many pests, my friend, the production cost, it will go high and you will not get what you are targeting. And this one, you have to ensure that you are following all the recommendations that you have been given for you to be able to get the right seeds for you to propagate and get more yields per unit area. So you have to follow the recommendations that you have been given by your extension officers. So also we have these agrochemicals. We have to ensure that we are spraying our crops with the fungicides that are necessary for the diseases. And these fungicides will work on early blight. Also, rotate active ingredients. When you are using, for example, now we are using Ridomil from Syngenta this week, we have to alternate because Ridomil has different uh, ingredients compared to Mirrors. Let us say you are using Ridomil this week and you have Mirrors. Ridomil this week, Mirrors next week, for you to ensure that you are alternating the ingredients or the molecules that are in the chemical. So when you use one, just let us say you are using Ridomil alone, it will make the crop will become will resist, or the nini will resist to the chemical, and you will get that the diseases are just attacking because the chemical is not doing well, or we are not alternating, and the crops will be attacked by different diseases, and will end up losing your crops because of one chemical. So I always advise farmers, because even in the every farming sector, it is recommended that we have to alternate. Even on the side of insecticides, same it is being applied for you to ensure that uh, the the resistant is not building up from different diseases and pests. So you have to ensure that you are alternating, and you have to spray in time, and you have to spray the required or recommended rates per unit area. So also we have 2 to 3 weeks digging up. You have to ensure that you are digging up around the ridges for you to ensure that you are creating more soil for your crop for it to grow healthy. But because when if you leave it out, the tubers, as I said, that you will be exposing the tubers out, and they may be attacked by different pests and diseases, and you may end up losing your crop. So this reduces post-harvest infestation. You may get that when the tubers are being exposed, we have some green coloring and the tubers will not be good, and the quality of the tubers will not be that of market, and you may get that you are losing the market because of the tubers that are not in good conditions. So you have to ensure that you have to remove all the infested potatoes from your farm when they have a different uh, diseases, or they have different colors that is not appealing for the marketing. You have to ensure that you remove them all for you to remain with the grade that you are targeting, for you to secure your market and your customers. Also, we have proper planting spacing. The spacing always matter. Potato tend to grow vegetatively because when you grow closely, the crops will have more leaves, and the leaves, when are many in your farm, some will have to get more pests, and they will be the host of the pests, and the pests will spread everywhere because the leaves will make a canopy, and they will get stuck together, and the insects will spread faster, and the pests will spread faster in your farm, compared, even if, as well as to the diseases. When the crop is having early blight, and you planted closely, the disease will spread faster as possible. So you have to ensure that you are following the recommended spacing. As I said, that you have to ensure that in a pure stand you are using 75 centimeters by 30 centimeters for you to avoid overcrowding, and this overcrowding leads to more damages because pests and diseases spread more and more in a congested area, and you get that you are losing many crops, and you not get that yields that you are targeting, because when the crop is not healthy, you will not be able it will not be able to produce the market size tubers, and also the tubers will reduce in number, because the insects will be using the nutrients that the crop has to use, and the tubers will not form well. You get that you have small size tubers which are not good for the market, good size for the market. You have to ensure that you are following all the procedures, the recommended spacing. You have to follow it for you to ensure that you are avoiding this issue of pests and diseases in your crop. So we have uh, mulching. You have to mulch our soil. This mulching, you know the the reasons why you mulch our farms. This mulching will help us not to lose more water from the soil, and the crop, as I said, that when they have uh, a good water or more water or sufficient water that they are required for their growth, they'll have to take more take in more nutrients via root hairs, because water will be absorbing the nutrients that are in the soil, and root hairs will be taking and transport. We have something called active transport to the rest of the plant. So when you mulch, you will reduce the evaporation of the soil, and you will be creating a good working environment for the microorganisms in the soil, because the temperatures will not be high. When the temperatures are high, the microorganisms will tend to stop working, and some may die, and the structure of the soil will not be good. Also, that mulching helps to uh, prevent the growth of the weeds, because the land, when you put the mulches, the crop will not be able to germinate, because it will not have that enough light, so you will have to suffocate them. So when you are mulching, the structure of the soil will be improving it, and you will reclaim and you will do some soil amendments, because the nutrients that are in the soil are not being get lost, and the microorganisms that are working in the soil that are ensuring that you have aeration in the soil, root penetration, water infiltration in a good condition. So you have to ensure that when you have a mulching material, you have to mulch, but also don't use mulches that have been, or the crops that have been infested, or you are using the mulches that have seeds that can bring more weeds in your farm. Use uh, weed-free and pest-free or disease-free mulches, and ensure that you are using dry mulches. If you are using grass, ensure that you are using dry mulches, because when you use the green one, the green one will start making the potato down to dry or to rot. Also, when you are using the green ones, the growth of the different pests and diseases will occur, and the soil will not have good aeration. So I urge all farmers, when you're using mulches, you have to use dry ones for you to be able to manage your farm. Also, you have good soil health and fertilizer use. You have to use your fertilizers as recommended. So when you're applying your fertilizers in the soil, you have to ensure that you have to apply the recommended rate per unit area. But when you intend to apply more, or you are giving in more, the crop will take, but will be bringing more damages to the crop, because the crops are the growing living organisms. So the cells will get more, will get in more, and will get that they have some abnormalities, and the crop will not grow as you are targeting, and you may end up losing your crop. So you have to ensure that you apply the recommended fertilizers, and you have to ensure that all the soil tests that were done and all the nutrients were recommended for you, you have to apply to ensure that you are preventing the deficiencies in your crop, uh, for the crops to grow healthy and strong, for you to get more tubers and healthy tubers that has a long shelf life and that are of market size. So you have to follow the procedures and integrated methods that you are being given for application of the fertilizers, and you'll get what you're targeting per unit area. Also, irrigation. Irrigation increases the yields, but when you neglect to give water, the crop will not do well. Or when you neglect to give water, the crop may be attacked by certain diseases, and it will not be able to grow healthy, and we will not get what we're targeting because we are not following all the procedures, and because the crops are living organisms and living things, they require water, because water reduces the splashes and diseases spread. They choke the diseases, or they choke the pests that are emerging from the soil, and the crops will be healthy and on the safer side, and will be able to grow healthy and strong, and you get what you're targeting per unit area. Check for aphids. Aphids affect our potatoes, I mean. Also, we have leaf miners. These ones we have cutworms, leaf miners, aphids. So we have to spray the necessary or the required or the recommended insecticides. Don't apply the insecticide that cannot kill the pests, because when the pests are more in your farm, they'll lead to different diseases. You know, they are pests, they are sucking the water, the nutrients, everything there, and they leave your crop bare and without nutrients. And that when the crop is not having the nutrients, you'll get that you have some deficiencies in that crop. So we have to ensure that we are preventing these pests uh, by spraying the recommended or the required insecticide for you to be able to achieve what you are targeting per unit area. So you have to ensure that you are checking every time and then. You go scouting when you have spotted anything like pests. You have to ensure that you know the infested area, you know the population of the pest, the chemical to spray, and the amount to spray. So you have to ensure that you are following all the procedures or the spray procedures for you to get what you are targeting. So yeah, so how you are going to check at your equipment hygiene, like tractors. You have to ensure that all the equipment that you are using, you have to disinfect them or they are clean, because some maybe you maybe have come across with the crops that are being affected from a different farm. Let us say like a tractor. You are using a tractor, and when you don't clean or remove all the obstacles that are in the tractor and go with it in the farm, all the residues will go to your soil, and all the diseases that are in the soil in that tractor, they remain in your soil and they build up, and they will start spreading in your soil. So you have to ensure that you are following the procedures and the integrated recommendations for the farm hygiene. That is, you have to ensure that you are cleaning your tools before you go to work for them again. Also, we have to ensure that we plant deep potato, that is 15 centimeters, and heal up after germination to reduce diseases. So have you have to ensure that you are following all these steps that I've been telling you and that have been talking about them for you to be a successful potato farmer, and you will have and you will succeed in your farming, and you will grow big and big. So I want to go for a short break, and I'll be back for a few minutes to complete. Thank you. Welcome back. At this Diagnostic Tuesday, I was talking about potato production or potato crop. So we have talked about the management, all the procedures to follow, all the uh, integrated procedures, recommendations that are being given to potato farmers to ensure that we are preventing and controlling all the pests and diseases that attack our crops. And also, we have cultural practices that we have to follow to ensure that we are not uh, uh, getting more losses from these pests and diseases. So, here we help farmers to ensure that they know what to do about pests, diseases, deficiencies that their crops have. Uh, so we will talk more and more. So here I was talking about the cultural practices that we have to follow. So I talk about 8 of them, and so the very most important cultural practice that many farmers have to follow is this practice called crop rotation. Crop rotation is a very important practice because when you rotate your farm or when you rotate a different crop, you ensure that you are getting what you are targeting, and you are reclaiming your soil, and you will be improving the soil structure. So the farm that you are planting your potato should not be from the you should not plant there, or you should not rotate with something like tomatoes, because they are in the same class. So you have to ensure that you are doing a different crop to ensure that you are reclaiming your soil and you are improving your soil structures for you to get what you are targeting per unit area. So uh, also I said that weeding is something that is good, something that can help you, because when you do weeding, uh, when you leave your farm weedy, the the host the pest will be having a host, and the diseases also will be having a host. So the crop will have, or the pest will have to spread faster into your farm, and the pest will have to decline your production and will get less. So we help our farmers to ensure that they are getting more from less. So you have to ensure that, when we always say that cheap things are expensive. So when you go for cheap things, the management will be expensive. But when you do all soil testing, soil analysis, and follow all the procedures and the recommendations that you are given with the agronomist or the extension officers, the management will be cheap. So on the management side, we will have a little time, and you get what you want from your farm. So you have to ensure that you follow all the procedures for you to get what you are targeting as per crop. So I will urge all farmers before you start this potato farming, because I say that it's the second staple food from maize, and it helps many farmers. This potato has a zero fat. It doesn't have any fat. It has vitamins, and it releases uh, uh, carbohydrates and small amounts, and also it helps our immune system. So in the whole world, the potato is being grown in over 100 countries. So you have to ensure that if you are in this business, you have to ensure that you are doing it well, and will get what you are targeting, and we'll have to ensure that we are having food security in our country. Also, we'll be creating job opportunities for our youths, and also we'll be improving your living standards, because we'll be earning uh, something from your farm, and also can make you to be a boss on your own. And this farming helps many, because uh, we have something to do, and we are not idle. So potato farming uh, is being done in many areas in this our country, and the marketing of this uh, potato crop, uh, you can get that the sack that is 50 kgs, the it is going about 1400 to 1500 shillings per sack. So this one helps our farmers to get more. And you have peak seasons. Like now is the best time to take your produce to the market, because people didn't plant more and they are having less. So the demand of the potatoes now is high. So the supply is less, but the demand is high. So you are going to get more profits, and the production cost will have to get profits, and the production cost will have to incur, and will improve your farming, and you will be a successful farmer. So follow the peak season. Don't just plant like a person who don't understand what to do. Just follow the season, and you'll get what you're targeting. Because if you grow off season, you'll get that the potato are flooding in the market, and the prices will be less. So when the prices are less and you use more, the production cost is high, and you get less, you'll see that you will think that we are doing something which is wrong. You have the productions, you have the tubers, or you have the crop, the produce are high, but what you are getting from them is less. So you have to ensure that you are following the peak seasons, and will get what you are targeting, uh, and you will be able to finance your production, and you'll be able to do and buy everything that you want in your farm, like inputs, and you'll be able to continue with your farming. So I urge all farmers to ensure that they check the seasons, and when they be advised this season is good, this season is not good, follow. Don't neglect, and you'll be able to fetch more. And also, it's not even in potato only. So you have to ensure that we are following all the procedures for us to uh, get what we are targeting per unit area. So I will urge all farmers to get or to do what is right, and will be able to have what they are targeting per unit area. So potato production is a good thing, and it gives more, and you can earn more in this crop, because it's being grown in different parts of the country, and you can get what you are targeting compared to some crops. So when you are a potato farmer, I will encourage you to continue and follow all the procedures and the recommendations that you are being given by the agronomist or from the experienced farmers, and you'll be able to get what you are targeting. When you are producing in this country, you are ensuring, because the agriculture is our our Kenyan economy, the backbone of our Kenyan economy. So we'll get that you are enhancing food security. We will have enough food and adequate food for our crops, for our country. And also, we'll be creating more job opportunities for our youths. So, when you are doing potato farming and you have somebody who has gone to the college and come has the skills, has the knowledge, how to manage and how to go, you have created a job. When you neglect the people that are doing potato production, they see that we don't have this thing, and they will eventually will be demoralized and they will not get what they were targeting or they were expecting in their life. So when you are a farmer, we encourage you to continue because many people have been enrolling and enrolling more and more into this business. They are leaving different business, they come into agriculture. Many have increased the number of potato farming and they have big plantations. So I'll urge all farmers to ensure that they are following all the procedures and they are continuing with the growing of the potato, and they encourage other or their friends to continue with this farming or to start this potato farming because it helps more. So I'll urge all farmers to continue, they should not stop. uh, you are watching us from a farmers media, Diagnostic Tuesday. I, Stephen Kasie, I'll urge you all to be following or to be subscribed and ensure that we are following all the details that we are giving you on this Tuesday, because we are diagnosing different crops, and we are helping you to get what you want. And when we are having you here and you are listening to us, you'll be able to know how to go about farming. I want to urge you all to subscribe to our channel and at the Farmers Media, and follow me every Tuesday on our channel about the diagnosing of the crops, and you'll be helped and you will start growing big and welcome.